War rages across the mortal realms. New alliances are formed while others lie shattered, and the dominant powers ever seek their next conquest. While this and countless other battles rage on, one fact is becoming clear. The season of war has begun. This video is brought to you by the support of our channel members and our FLGS partner, Warpfire Minis. Baron of Dice is the exclusive dice supplier for Season of War. Take a look through their incredible designs or even get your own custom dice made.
Hello and welcome to Season of War. My name's Jordan and I am joined by Ryan tonight. You're bringing out your slaves to darkness, Ryan.
Yes, I am.
And to face off against them, the channel members voted for me to play the Cities of Sigmar. So I've obviously got these guys on the table, a contingent of elves, dwarves, and humans, the full coalition. But before we dive into armies, the mission we're playing is the Vice. So while you see 5 objective markers on the table, none of those are currently there or active. Currently the objectives are all in the table corners. And they stay there for the first battle round, but then on the second battle round, they move to the table quarters. And then the fourth battle round, they all get removed and one comes in the center. It's hold 1, hold 2, hold more for storing until we get just the lone center objective, at which point it's hold 1, hold more, and then if you have no enemy units within 6 inches of the objective, then you get the other 2 points. And then if you are the underdog at the end of your turn, you get to pick one of the objectives on the board and can do D3 mortals to the stuff that's on it, so maybe a little extra chip damage. But that's everything for the mission. So Ryan, do you want to take us through your list?
Yeah, so I've got a bit of an interesting list here. I went with God's Wrath Warband. I think it's kind of the only choice unless you have a ton of Marauders. Unfortunately, it's going to do nothing in this mission because the objectives keep disappearing and recreating themselves. So maybe on battle round 4 or something, I get it on here and start doing some damage there, but it's probably not going to do a whole lot. As for the army itself, I've got lots of Auguroids. As you can see, I have one 6-man unit, one 3-man unit. I also have the Mimerdon, who is equipped with the Conqueror's Crown, and he also has the heroic trait that lets him once per game pile in an attack twice. The second one's strike last, but when that happens, he is a bit of a blender. I should mention the 2 units of Auguroids are Mark of Nurgle, while the Myrmidon is Mark of Khorne to maximize his output. I also have Be'lakor, because I'm still convinced I should never leave home without him this edition, but we'll see. I have a unit of Hell Riders in the corner taking the one objective. In the other corner, I have the Mutalith Vortex Beast, who I actually kind of think he got way better this edition, so we're going to see if that's the case. Big old block of Nurgle Chaos Warriors, accompanied by a Chaos Sorcerer with Mark of Tzeentch, notably because he needs to be Tzeentch to buff the Mutalith Vortex Beast. And that's the army.
Nice. Well, to face off against your Chaos Invaders, though this is probably your territory that I'm invading, we've got the Cities of Sigmar. I'm playing Collegiate Arcane just to give my 2 casters +1 to cast, help with a little bit of reliability there. And to go through all the units, I have 5 regiments. My general is the Cavalier Marshal, and he's got the command trait that makes 1s to 3s always miss him in combat. In his regiment, I have a unit of 10 Cavaliers, so they're reinforced, and then 2 non-reinforced units of Steel Helms. My next regiment is then just a lone Warforger off by himself. And then I have a 3rd regiment of humans, which is led by Callus and Toll. It includes Toll's companions and then a unit of Wildercorpse Hunters. Then for my Elven contingent, I have a Sorceress with a unit of Executioners. Obviously just using the elves as whatever elves we want, but they are Executioners today. And then my Dwarf contingent, I have a Rune Lord. Don't have a Dwarf hero actually, so we're using Gotrek as a proxy here. And alongside him is a unit of 20 Hammerers. So they're reinforced, one of the better kind of Dwarven units in the book right now. Obviously again, ignore the guns, they're just smacking people with the butts of their weapons. And then to finish things off, I just have an Incarnate here for my Manifestation lore. And that's everything. And then for my seasonal rule for the General's Regiment, I am going to give my unit of Cavaliers anti-infantry on the charge.
My big unit of Auguroids is going to get the +1 to hit wound against stuff in your General's Regiment.
Ryan, with all my heroes and regiments, I was 5 drops, so you definitely outdropped me here. So you are going to have choice of who goes first.
Yeah, I think I'm going to give it to you.
Unsurprising, but that'll see us jump into Cities of Sigmar turn 1. I do get a pre-game move with my Wilder Corpse Hunter, so I'm just going to do that first. And then I'm going to choose take the flanks for my battle tactic this round, followed by my 2 heroes here activating the Place of Power. So the Warforger first will succeed, he'll get +1 to cast, and then the Rune Lord will also succeed. Noteworthy, he has the artifact that gives him +1 to his prayers already. And then my Sorceress is going to hopefully not slay one of her elven friends, and she doesn't, but she will get the +1 to cast. My Warforger will then use his Runic Crucible to try and give +1 to save to the Cavaliers, and he fails on a 1. The Warforger is then going to try and cast a Speed of the Twin-Tailed Comet onto my Cavaliers. I am +2, but that is a miscast, so he's going to suffer 1 mortal wound. Good start. Go back to school. Then the Sorceress is going to try and cast the Kronspine Incarnate. She'll get that off with a 10.
I mean, that's your only other cast, so I might as well try if I'm in range, which I am. But I'm going to need a nice roll here. Oh, all right.
Let's get it out. Then lastly, my Rune Lord is going to chant for Oath and Steel on my Hammerers. And with +2, he will get that off on a 6. And that's going to make them -1 to be wounded in combat. And then Ryan, that's everything from a hero phase.
All right, we're going to go for a Burning Head. That's off.
We'll try to unbind it, but we fail. All right, then I'm going to get into movement now. I'll start by spending a command point with my Executioners for at the double to make them auto-run 6 inches. All right, that's going to be it for my movement. I'm going to leave Callus and Toll and the companions up or off and deep strike it still. Then into shooting, I do have my Wilder Corpse Hunters in range, and they're actually going to take some pot shots at your unit of 3 Odroids.
I mean, I might as well out defense because I've got CP to spare. Don't think I'm going to use a ton on your turn, or my turn.
And I am going to use all-out attack. And 3s and 4s on the crossbows. Well, that's going to be 1 hit at 1 rand and 1 damage.
Okay, well, my 3-up goes to a 4-up, and I do not save it. You do damage to 1 Odroid.
Moving up the flanks and ready to engage their enemy, the cities of Sigmar prepare for the worst and hone their blades in anticipation of the rampaging Chaos forces.
That's going to be it for Cities of Sigmar turn 1. I obviously do hold my corner points. I moved off of them because you don't have a teleport to threaten them. So I will get hold 1 and hold 2, but being that you have your 2 objectives, I don't get hold more. So 4 points there, and I do achieve my battle tactic of take the flanks to store another 4 points, make it a solid 8-point turn 1.
Nice.
Now, I'm kind of trying to position so that my big mobile unit is kind of defensive, but still able to go on the offense if, depending on what happens in the next little bit. But otherwise, I've just kind of spread out, and I'm trying not to expose units too badly at all, other than my Wilder Corpse Hunters, who are taking one for the team here, we'll say. They tried to get some shots off, but did just 1 damage. But Ryan, that's it for me.
All right.
So let's head into Slaves to Darkness, turn 1.
Battle tactic I'm going to go for is do not waver, and we're going to try and do some fighting, I guess.
Yeah, fight with 2 units and have none slain.
Next, I guess we'll roll for my Nexus, who rolls a 3, which is not enough to do anything this turn, but maybe somewhere else down the line. Other than that, let's first roll to see if I get the Oracular Visions off the Sorcerer on the Chaos Warriors. So on a 3-up, yes, so they get a 5-up ward. I guess now we could do some casting. Mindles will cast Demonic Speed with Be'lakor on the Ogroids from Be'lakor, which I will get off with a 7.
But we unbind it with an 8.
All right. And then for his second cast, we will go for an Emerald Life Swarm, which he fails. And then my other wizard is going to go for the Gnashing Jaws, which he succeeds on with an 8.
Let's try to unbind. No, you get it.
Okay, end of hero phase.
I will spend a command point here for magical intervention and activating the place of power, failing to do that and taking some mortal wounds. 3 on my Rune Lord, that was great. He's going to try and chant for a prayer just to bank some points. He gets a 5, -1, but +1 because of his artifact, so he's going to bank those 5 points.
So we will go into movement phase. End of movement phase.
I will spend a command point here to redeploy my Wilder Corpse Hunters, just to try and make your battle tactic as hard as possible. That's a 2.
Okay, going into the shooting phase. We're gonna shoot with the Flaming Skull at your hammerers. For 6 shots, it's angry. For 4 wounds, these are Ren 2, 1 damage.
So 5s. I save 1, take 2 damage.
I guess that'll be my shooting phase. All right, going into charge phase. Then we'll start over here. We'll start with the Fell Riders, who probably get in with an 11. All right. Well, we will go into the combat phase. I guess we'll start with the Ogroids because I think they hit way harder. We will all attack though.
The Ogroids take out 10 Wildercorpse Hunters, while the lone survivor deals a single wound with his retaliation. Lastly, the Knights trample over the last Wildercorpse Hunter and finish off the unit. Excited to start the bloodshed, the Slaves to Darkness honor the Dark Gods of Chaos with their actions and take back control of the eastern flank.
So that's my turn. I think it went reasonably okay. Obviously, I wanted to express more threat forward with a long charge, but you unbinding my demonic speed kind of took that wind out of my sails. So I am a little bit worried about like getting surrounded, but I guess if that happens, your hammers are just done. So we'll see what happens, but I'm overall fairly happy with it. I scored the maximum what I could, but because you have 2, I don't get hold more. So.
Yep, so a similar 8-point turn for you, Ryan.
Yep. Overall, it's okay. I mean, the Vortex Beast failed me, but he's going to succeed for me in the next turn. But yeah, I guess it just comes down to a roll-off.
All right, priority for round 2.
1.
2. We win it here, and I am going to take the turn, keep the same turn order, and hopefully take advantage of the opportunity. So let's jump into Cities of Sigmar, turn 2. All right, for my battle tactic this round, I'm actually going to go for Do Not Waver as well, so fight with 2 units and have none slain. And then my 2 heroes over here are both going to activate the Place of Power again, so the Rune Lord first. He gets it, and the Battle Mage, the Warforger does as well, so they'll both be +1 to their respective rolls. And then the Warforger is going to start by casting Cinder Cloud on your unit of 6 Odroids, and he'll get that off with a 10.
That's a spell.
Yep.
You have no other spells in range, so I might as well try and stop it. I fail.
All right, that is going to reduce their attacks by 1. Then the Warforger is also going to try and use the Runic Crucible for +1 to save on the Cavaliers, which he does get off this time, so extra armor. Then the Rune Lord's going to chant for Oath and Steel again on my Hammerers. Okay. And he rolls a 1. Which means he fails even with +2 to his prayers and 5 points banked, and he loses 2 points. That's unfortunate. Then the Sorceress is just going to try and cast Elemental Lightning, which would hit your Chaos Warriors. She'll get that off with an 8.
Okay, I'll try and stop it. Nope.
So they'll suffer 1 mortal wound.
I do not save the mortal wound.
And then the Sorcerer Lord does take it for 2 mortals. And the Meteorlith Vortex Beast also takes it for 2 mortals as well.
Well, that wasn't too shabby.
And that's going to be everything for my hero phase.
I think I'm going to go for a cast. We will go for an Emerald Life Swarm with, I guess, Be'lakor, which he fails. And then I am going to use Be'lakor's ability on your Knights. So for what his ability does is every time you want to do an action, any action now, it's not just like turn-based, it's like could be anything, rampages, whatever. On a 3-up, you just don't get to do it.
Nice.
And movement is an action, so
Well,
I'm hoping we keep them nice and not in a awkward position.
Yeah, well, we are into movement now, so Ryan, do you want to roll up and see if those Cavaliers can move?
They cannot.
That's not part of the plan. Well, into the rest of the movement then. And then the last part of my movement phase is going to be Callus and Toll and Toll's companions, deep striking.
Back here.
And then Callus and Toll are going to issue advance in formation, so they'll get to do a 3-inch movement, and because they're human, they can also issue it to the companions. And that is going to be it for my movement phase.
Yeah, we'll redeploy the Augoroids, I guess. For an extra 5.
All right, well, I will have a little shooting, so we'll go with Callus and Toll, and they're gonna shoot at Ravnak's Gnashing Jaws. So that's gonna be 3 at rend 1.
All right, well, there's a 5-up save, so I'll need some 6s. Save 2.
So just each shot's gonna be 2 damage.
All right, 6 up. Save 1, you do 1 damage.
And then I'm gonna get into charging. Do you wanna see if my Cavaliers can charge?
You can charge.
All right, well, let's start there with the Cavaliers. That's gonna be only a 4.
That won't get you there.
Then the Executioners are going to charge
Tell me double 1s.
for a 5. And then my Sorceress is going to use Strike Them Down on my Executioners, which is going to give them +1 attack and +1 to hit. And I'll lastly charge the Incarnate for 4. And that's all my charges.
Then my Vortex Beast is going to roar at your Executioners, and this time let's try and get some more damage out of them. I got the 5, so I will do the D6 mortals and then heal D6. So D6 mortals for 1.
You kill 1 elf.
All right, and then I heal for D6 for, yeah, he's back to full health.
All right, then I'm just gonna start off combat with those Executioners, putting all their attacks into your Chaos Warriors.
All right, well, I will all defense with the Chaos Warriors.
The Executioners kill 10 warriors, while the remainder swing back and take down 3 of the elves through all-out defense. Toll's companions are next, dealing 3 damage to the Gnashing Jaws, which in turn deals 2 damage back. Finishing off combat, Callus and Toll deal 3 more damage to the Gnashing Jaws. Pushing into enemy territory and gaining ground, the cities of Sigmar stick to their plan and look to wipe the stench of chaos from this realm.
All right, that's it for my turn. It was decently effective in terms of the way things went. Obviously, getting knocked down with my Cavaliers isn't ideal, but at least we do have the save buff on them right now before the Augoroids come in. But actually, the elves, the Executioners, were standouts here, both in combat and with their saves. They were pretty hot, so they took out half the Chaos Warriors, which is as much as I could have hoped for.
Yeah, like normal
Probably-
Chaos Warriors with Oracular Visions taking out 10 guys, that's impressive.
Yeah, exactly. So very solid there. Happy to not take too many hits back. We did stay wholly within the cover to, in the future now, be -1 to hit, so makes them a little more defensive. It's noteworthy, I was considering trying to charge onto the objective. They just didn't roll high enough, so that's why I stayed in the woods. I would have liked to steal that objective to score more points, but we didn't quite get there. And I would like to get there with Callus and Toll or the companions as well, but the manifestation kind of zoned me out from being 9 inches from your heroes. Otherwise, they would have gone wizard hunting, which would have been a lot of fun. Yeah, with that, we're gonna score another 8-point turn because I did fight with 2 units and have none slain, and I'll still control 2 objectives to your 2. So it's gonna be 8 points, putting me to 16 and sending us into Slaves to Darkness, turn 2.
All right, so we're gonna go take their land in your back corner here because I don't really have anything else good right now. So we'll do that. Going into the hero phase, we'll try and put the ward back on the Chaos Warriors. Yes. We'll roll for the Nexus Chaotica. It gets another 3, going up to 6. Be'lakor will put his built-in spell onto those knighty things. So we'll enfeeble foe onto the Cavaliers, which he gets off with a 9.
Might as well try to unbind, but we don't.
-1 to hit, and you can't critical hit. We'll throw the 3d6 charge onto the Augroid Myrmidon. Demonic speed onto the Augroid Myrmidon, which I get off with an 11. And then finally, we will do Binding Damnation over here, I think. That's a fail. That'll be the end of my hero phase.
All right, I will spend a command point just to rally my hammerers and bring 2 back.
We're gonna flee with the Gnashing Jaws and just like put it in your way. For 1. That's my movement phase. Okay, going into shooting. I do have some shooting. I will shoot this Flaming Skull into that injured dwarf guy. For 4 at Ren 2.
3 go through?
1 each.
And that will take him out.
Excellent. Good job, Skull. End of shooting phase. Going into the charge phase. All right, let's see what's going to go on here. We'll start with the Mutolith Vortex Beast. Shockingly, he gets in with a 10. I've charged with pretty much everything, so I'm done charging. We'll start with the Rampage with my Mutolith Vortex Beast here. We will do it into those elves again, I think. So we'll try our best. Your -3 control score for the rest of the turn.
And then for orders, I'm going to hold the line from my Free Guild Cavalier Marshal onto the Cavaliers and my Sorceress onto the Executioners. So they'll each get a 5-up ward save, but they'll be striking last.
We'll go for the once per game +1 damage with the Augroids into the Cavaliers.
And the Cavaliers will use all their defense here.
15 at -1.
3 do go through though.
At 3 damage a pop.
So with their 5-up wards, they will save 3 of them and take 6 damage, which will kill 2. Then I'll fight with my Steel Helms over here.
The Steel Helms deal 3 damage to the Burning Head. Then the Chaos Warriors use all-out attack and kill 7 Executioners. The Kronspine fights next and kills a single Chaos Warrior. Then the Vortex Beast deals 3 damage back to the Incarnate. The Hammerers wipe out the Burning Head, Be'lakor takes down a Cavalier, and Toll's companions deal 3 damage to the Nexus Chaotica. Next to fight, the Myrmidon fails to deal any damage, then Callus and Toll deal another 4 damage to the Nexus. Lastly, the Executioners use all-out attack and kill 2 more Chaos Warriors. Then the Cavaliers deal 1 wound to the Ogroids. While unable to inflict the level of devastation they desired, the Slaves to Darkness still managed to regain some control of the battlefield, pushing their enemies' forces back on their heels.
And that's my turn. I scored everything I wanted to score, but it didn't go very well. I mean, obviously you were really tanky, but I had a couple of units really flub their attacks, and that really didn't help matters.
Yeah, plus the Odroids were -1 attack, and going into a 1-up save with a 5-up ward.
Yeah, exactly. Like the Odroids rolled fine, the Myrmidon rolled really poorly, and Be'lakor rolled really poorly. I don't think I would have killed much more, maybe got 1 more knight, but it's disheartening when you have 8 attacks and then you only take 1 save. So,
that's fair.
So, yeah, I think the highlight of the turn though was the Burning Head. I mean, I kind of suicided it, mostly because I forgot to pile in on it when you'd already attacked here, but it's besides the point. It did a shooting attack and picked up one of your heroes, which actually is pretty spicy.
Yeah, that's a big prayer that's very important, and obviously the synergy of giving the guys a 5-up ward when he's nearby, so it definitely hurts.
Yeah, so overall it was an okay turn. The Warriors held up. They actually did decently well. They picked up a whole bunch of your knights, or your elves, which was great.
Yep.
But Yeah, I guess we'll just go into the roll-off.
Yeah, priority for round 3, and we did a 3, so we're gonna jump into Cities of Sigmar turn 3. Okay, so my battle tactic this turn is going to be Reclaim the Realms. So I have to have a unit in every table quarter outside of 9 inches of enemy units. And then into the hero phase, my Warforger is going to try and use the Place of Power, which he succeeds, so he'll get +1 to cast. And he will try and cast Elemental Lightning onto the Odroids, which will go off with a 10. So they'll suffer 1 mortal wound, and see if it passes to the little hero. No. To Be'lakor. No. Then the sorceress will cast Cinder Cloud onto the Chaos Warriors.
Sounds scary.
On a 10.
You haven't rolled below a 10, I don't think yet. I failed.
And that's going to reduce their attacks by 1. And then the Warforger is going to try and give his Runic Crucible to my hero on Steed, which he does for the +1 to save. And that's going to be it for my hero phase.
All right, I will go for a cast. We'll do Enfeeble Foe on the Hammers. No, we will not.
And then into movement, and my Warforger is going to start by issuing Advance in Formation to my Hammerers. And then Callus and Toll are going to issue Advance in Formation to themselves and their companions. And that's all of my movement. And into shooting, Callus and Toll are just going to take a couple shots at your terrain piece. 4 at rend 1.
5s. Save 1.
1 damage each.
All right, well, it's got, I think, 4 wounds left.
Then I'm going to get into charges and charge with the Hammerers first. For a 9. Then the Cavalier Marshal is going to issue Strike Them Down to the Hammerers, giving them +1 attack. And that's it for my charge phase.
Okay, I am going to countercharge with the Marauder Horseman and try and take that objective from you. Which, yeah, I think I'm... All right, start of combat. Let's see Be'lakor's abilities. So first we'll try on the Mimrodon, which fails, and then on the Ogroids, which also fails. That's really hard.
No strikes first, which is very good for me.
Oh, I've got the Vortex Beast first. I'm going to do it into your Elves again, the Executioners. 2 dice. I got a 6 this time, so I get D6 mortals. 4, 5 mortals.
So it kills 5 elves, and I'm going to start off combat with the Hammerers, going into the Odroids, and I will use all-out attack.
I will also all-out defense, because this is an important moment.
The Hammerers kill 4 Ogroids. Then the Chaos Warriors kill 3 elves and leave only just 1 alive.
And I just realized I forgot to use the Cavalier Marshal's Strike First ability, so that technically would have happened before the Hammerers, but we're gonna do them now. So we'll have the Cavalier Marshal and then the Cavaliers.
Okay.
The Cavalier Marshal is unable to deal any damage, but he triggers the Cavaliers to fight right after, and they deal 3 damage to the Ogroids. The Dark Oath Fellriders kill 3 Steel Helms, the Incarnate kills 2 Warriors, the Ogroids kill a single Cavalier, and the Lone Executioner deals no damage at all. Be'lakor kills another 2 Cavaliers, Callus and Toll deal 2 damage to the Nexus, then the Myrmidon kills 2 more Cavaliers. Toll's companions fight next, finally wiping out the Nexus, then the Vortex Beast deals 3 damage to the Incarnate. Lastly, the Steel Helms deal a single wound to the Marauders. With combat and conflict raging, the Slaves to Darkness take a slight edge in the engagements, though the final outcome of this battle still hangs in the balance.
All right, after a long slog of combats where most of them didn't really amount to much, though you did whittle down my Cavaliers, and the big one was my Hammerers taking out 4 Ogroids.
Notably, they got lucky because I failed a ton of rolls, which would have messed with them up. But
the fights first, for sure, was the big one, right? But with Be'lakor, I couldn't avoid it. I can't just let you sit there, so I had to go for it, had to risk it. It panned out, and I do remain in control of my 2 objectives, just barely.
Just barely. Those Marauder Horsemen let me down something fierce.
Yeah, that's okay by me, but that will see me store 4 points for the primary again, and another 4 points for a battle tactic, thanks to Callus and Toll and the companions. I do achieve that. with 2 of my other heroes. So trying to store all the tactics we can because they are going to get harder as we get to the end of the game. But 8 points puts me 24 to 16 as we head into Slaves to Darkness, turn 3.
Going into my turn, battle tactic. I'll go for Slay the Entourage and kill your Cavaliers. Let's see if I get my ward save on the Chaos Warriors. Yes. Bellicor will cast Enfeeble Foe on the Hammerers, which he gets off with a 9.
You got it.
All right.
So that'll be -1 to hit.
Yeah. And then for his second spell, yeah, I think we're going to put up a skull, a Flaming Skull, which he miscasts on. Great. He takes 1. He saves it. Takes nothing. He just fails the skull. My Sorcerer Lord's going to try and banish Kronspine. Needs an 8. Does not get an 8. Okay. That's my hero phase. Movement phase. End of movement phase. Okay, going into shooting phase. End of shooting phase. Charge phase. We're going to charge with the Ogroids, which they get in with a 7. Okay, charge. Impact hits from the Gnashing Jaws. 10 dice. Every 5 up is a mortal wound. 3 mortals.
Take 2.
And that's the end of the charge phase. Okay, we'll start with the Mutalith Vortex Beast. I think this time he's going to go into Kronspine. You can't get commands. You have Trog Brains.
And then for orders, I'm just going to issue Hold the Line to my Hammerers.
Okay.
So strikes last with a 5-up ward.
So I will go first with the Ogroid Myrmidon, using his ability that also will pile them in.
The Myrmidon finishes off another Cavalier, while another Ogroid unit kills 8 Hammerers. Next, the Steelhelms use all-out attack, but only kill a single Fell Rider. The last Ogroid then kills a Hammerer, the Incarnate kills a Warrior, and the Warriors take down the last Executioner. The last Cavalier then deals 1 damage to the Ogroids, the Gnashing Jaws finish off the Kronspine. The Cavalier Marshal deals no damage, and then Bellicor finishes off the last Cavalier. Lastly, the Fell Riders kill 4 Steelhelms, and the Hammerers deal 4 damage to the Ogroids.
That's the end of the turn for me. I think it went swellingly. I mean, everything kind of happened that I wanted to. The only thing that didn't happen that I wanted to happen was I wanted Gnashing Jaws into the Silver Helms.
Steelhelms. Got elves on the brain.
I'll never not think of them as Silver Helms. But that was fine. Like, it's not the end of the world. It was just he went in and killed the Kronspine instead, which is, I think, fine. Other than that, even the Marauder Horsemen, actually the Marauder Horsemen failed utterly, but their horses were just kings, and they got me that objective, which puts me
just barely one model away, right?
Yep. So that was freaking huge out of them. I'm really happy with their performance there. Other than that, like, the smaller unit of Ogroids went in, did a whole bunch of damage, kept your Thunderers under control. So now I think I'm in a pretty commanding place, but we're going into a roll-off again.
All right, into round 4, and the objective's moving to the center.
Hey!
And I roll a 1 to your 6, so it's up to you, Ryan.
All right, I'll take it.
All right, so let's jump into Slaves to Darkness, turn 4.
Battle tactic, none. It's okay, I don't need one. Oracular Visions onto the Chaos Warriors. Failed, finally, but I don't think it matters. We will enfeeble your Hammers. It's off an 11.
You got it.
All right, Hammers are enfeebled. We'll put the Flaming Skull on with Bellicor, which he succeeds.
You are denied.
All right, and then I will put Demonic Speed on my gigantic Chaos Spawn with my Chaos Sorcerer Lord, which he gets with a 10.
You got it.
All right, Angry Chaos Spawn's gonna kill some guys. All right, end of hero phase. Going into movement phase. I think that's my movement phase. Shooting phase. I'm gonna huck a spear at your Steel Helms. Okay, 1 attack on 3s. He misses. Okay, moving on.
I will spend a command point here for covering fire with Callous and Toll. and shoot at your Vortex Beast. 3s and 3s, 2 at rend 1.
So 5s, save 1.
1 damage.
All right, I have no more shooting because the other stuff's not shooting combat. Charge phase. We'll start with Ravnax. Ravnax charges, makes it in. Okay, we're gonna do the impact hits. We're gonna put them into Callus and Toll.
They take 2.
Okay, charging with the Mutalith Vortex Beast. He makes it in. And we'll call that my charge phase. We'll start with his, with the Mutalith Vortex Beast's ability. We'll put it onto Callus and Toll. He does not get the 5. What does 4 do? All right, Callus and Toll are -1 movement for the rest of the game.
And I will issue the order to give my Hammerers a 5-up ward save.
Okay.
And I'll do the same on the Steel Helms.
The Gnashing Jaws deal 1 damage to Callus and Toll, who deal 6 damage to the Vortex Beast. Then the Marauders finish off the Steel Helms. Next, the Cavalier Marshal kills a single Ogroid, while Be'lakor quickly takes down the Marshal in swift retribution. A unit of Ogroids kills 2 Steel Helms, and the other units of Ogroids uses all-out attack, then kills 6 Hammerers. Finishing things off, the Vortex Beast deals a single damage to Callus and Toll. The Steel Helms deal 1 damage to the Ogroid, and the Hammers deal another.
So that's my turn. I scored maximum available points, and there's only 1 objective now. I guess I get to put a despoiler thing on there.
Yeah, you are in combat with the Hammerers, but they're not quite close enough to the objective.
So overall, the turn went fine, like we kind of expected it. My Mimrodon went in and flubbed a bit. He was supposed to kill all the Silver Helms in one go.
You could have fought twice, but you didn't.
I forgot about it till it was too late. It doesn't matter. I'm not going to sweat it. Other than that, everybody did fine.
Yeah, I effectively have no real presence to take the middle. Over the past 2 turns, if my Thunderers had have done better, stuck around more, and hit back harder, that was probably my only route back in, or to stick in the game. But here it's a little bit, I just don't have enough resources.
Yeah, like they're going to be tied up the rest of the game. Over here, these guys, I know you did a lot of damage, but odds are decent he's going to heal probably about 6 wounds before he gets a swing again. So
yeah, so you store 10 points on this turn, which will put you up, so you'll be up 36 to 24. So up 12 points, and yeah, I'm not going to store another primary. At best, I think, Ryan, if on my, over the next 2 turns, I could potentially get to take the land. It's probably, 4 points is the max I'm going to get, and you're going to get another 10 on turn 5.
Yeah, good showing for Chaos. A little bit of an unorthodox army. The Mutalith Vortex Beast, I still think he's good, even though I managed to fail his 5+ on almost every single turn. But the fact that it's like 2 dice, all you need is 1 5-up, and then it's D6 healed, D6 mortals. I think he's good. He just kind of gets in the way and does damage.
Yeah.
He killed most of your elves, I think, more than the Chaos Warriors did.
Yeah, and I think, well, with the Chaos Warriors and Ogroids, probably one of the standout things that affected this match was the Nurgle mark.
Oh, absolutely.
So good. My whole army was mostly wounded on 4s, besides the Hammerers, and it really hampered things.
Oh, exactly. Like Chaos Warriors, I love them now. Like with a Sorcerer, like -1 to wound, your points per model is way cheaper than like Chosen or Knights. So the units just like, for 400 points, you have 40 wounds with the guys that just don't die. And we saw that here, like they just took a pounding, and I mean, there's still 4 of them alive. So that's really happy with them. Ogroids, I mean, they're fine. Like I can't complain like they did bad, but I think swap them out and put in something else like Chosen and you're just better off. But they're fine. The Mimrodon never got to really do his thing, but that's fine.
I mean, there were times where he activated the next unit. You never got Bellacor's ability off.
Yeah, but I never got the phase where he has 18 damage 3 attacks on the charge. Right? That's the dream moment.
Yeah, that's fair.
But I think he's great. Like at 120 points, I still think he's absolutely fantastic, even without the Ogroids. Just to have that guy that on the charge can have like 9 damage 3 attacks for 120 points, like you gotta really respect that. And he's got anti-monster, so you beeline him at a monster. You didn't have any, but in other builds. Overall, really happy with him.
Yeah, and I think just otherwise on the city's front, I think like my Cavaliers, obviously they were super tanky, but they never got their charge to deal damage. Now that was just a showcase of Be'lakor still having an amazing War Scroll ability to lock the unit down. That really kind of dictated things, because if not, I potentially am collapsing a flank.
Yep.
And you're not getting to charge me, and then I'm potentially getting another charge to come back into the middle. Like that was, I think, kind of like the biggest turning point of the game.
Oh yeah, exactly. I think like Even at his points hike, Be'lakor is still one of the best units in the game. He just has so much utility. Like, I know I failed those 2 strike last, which this game probably would have ended a turn earlier if I'd done that. But that, and then his spells, and he hits hard enough now. Like, they buffed him just enough to make him like feel like he matters.
Yep. Yeah, very solid. He's still really good, and obviously he made his presence felt today. But with that, we can wrap things up here, guys. Hope you enjoyed that battle report. Don't forget, if you want extra content every week, you can get it through our channel membership on YouTube by hitting the join button below this video. But either way, thank you so much for the support, and we look forward to seeing you in the next one.